Hello and welcome to the first episode of eSports Life. Today I'm going to be talking about defining esports and defining sustainability. Esports Life is going to be totally dedicated to promoting esports players and teams and sponsors to promote sustainability, and that kind of falls a little bit more under the sponsorship and money side of things, as well as health and a range of areas that cover sustainability. And also excellence within esports. The players are giving us the best games they possibly can. They're competing at their best. So first, what is esports? Esports is any video game that is competitive. If it's competitive and it's a video game, you've got an esport. So further defining it, I'm going to make some comparisons to normal sports, physical sports. That a sport is any kind of physical competition. So within esports, just like in sports, people debate and they say, well, is this a sport? Isn't it a sport? Is this an esport? Isn't it an esport? It's not that entertaining versus it is. Well, in normal sports, if you compete at it and it's physical, it's a sport. Some sports are more athletic than others. Furthermore, some sports are not spectator sports, and some are. So within esports, I think that those same questions kind of need to be addressed, and the debates on whether things are or not esports are kind of silly because it's very objective. Is it a video game? Is it electronic? Yes. Is it competitive? Yes, then it's an esport. Do lots of people like to watch it? Now it's a spectator esport. I think there are very few true spectator esports out there right now. Really, when you look at it, you're looking at StarCraft 2, StarCraft, um, League of Legends, Dota 2. That's pretty much it. I mean, I like seeing chess making an electronic comeback. I don't know if that's a really appropriate word for that, but I think it's Chess Network. That's a game formerly not electronic that is now electronic that people are competing at, and it's turning into a spectator sport. It's got hundreds of people watching it. So, I hope that kind of helps end that debate because there's an objective definition there. So the next thing is sustainability. What does sustainability mean? For fans, sustainability means that the players you like to watch get to keep playing so you can keep watching them. For players, sustainability means that competing at video games is good for you in the short and long run, that it's not going to hurt you to do that. And what I mean by that is that if, because you're young, you're able to do whatever you want and you don't really have to think too far in the future, or do you? I kind of think you do. So if you're not making enough money to set away for retirement and your health insurance isn't being paid for, or you live in a country where health insurance is free, all these things need to be taken into consideration. So for teams, it means that you're profitable. Sustainability means you're profitable. And that's a big thing because I think that within esports, because it's been amateur for so long, or because so many people have been amateur, that profitability and sustainability is actually looked down upon even within its own industry. And I think that's kind of a poison. Um, and that immediately reminds me of the caster versus player debate that came up a while ago within StarCraft 2, where some players who won't be named were angry that casters were making so much money. And I think that they really shouldn't be. They should be happy that the casters that are promoting their sport, who are basically the figureheads and the front men of the sport, are making a sustainable amount of money. I mean, how bad would it be for esports if Day9 disappeared? I mean, forget how good it is that he's there. How bad would it be if he disappeared? Or Husky, or DJ Wee, or JP, or any of these guys who are prominent people out there that someone might be upset that they're getting paid a lot of money to go to events. How bad would it be if they were gone? And it would be very bad. As bad as losing a major sponsor, I think. So, and on the other hand, looking at it, so sustainability for teams and players is sponsorships. One of the things we're going to be doing at Esports Life is covering doing it right is going to be episodes we have, and also esports problems. So we've talked about I've already talked about a couple problems, and doing it right. I mean, the players who are really promoting their sponsors. Sustainability for sponsors means that they're turning a profit. They have a positive ROI on their investments in esports. The last thing that I wanted to cover in this episode was what is good for esports. That gets tossed out all the time, and it's the same thing. That's what's good for sports. If you look at it and I think it's kind of a ridiculous question. I think it needs to be more specific than that because nobody says what's good for sports. If you look at the industry that is physical sports, what's good for sports. It's that there are lots of sports that people compete at sports, but that's kind of irrelevant to any kind of individual. So the concept of what's good and bad for esports is, in my opinion, ridiculous. I think that the real question is what is good for your esport. So my favorite esport right now is StarCraft 2. What's good for StarCraft 2? Even that's a little nebulous. Like for me, my favorite competitions to watch are like the IPL and MLG, and I like a lot of the smaller tournaments. So if someone says, do I have to buy a GOM TV, pass because I support esports? If you don't like to watch GOM TV, don't buy a pass. Every dollar that you spend is a vote on how the esports industry changes, and specifically how your esport changes. So if you like seeing lots of MLG arenas, pay for those, pay for the events that are pay-per-view. If you don't want to watch this, don't. If you like having things sponsored by, sponsors, and you don't like paying to see content, support those sponsors. Buy their products, And, if you're not buying sponsors' products, and you're not, helping them in any way, and you're not paying for pay-per-view, you're not really contributing to sustainability. Although you don't have to. It's all about what you want. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you and goodbye.